Well, for more insight, we can cross now live to Philadelphia and speak to Daniel Pipes, president of the Middle East Forum. Thank you very much for being with us here on France 24 this evening. The French president, François Hollande, says this attack has a, quote, undeniable terrorist nature. But is it too early to call this a terrorist attack?
You know, I prefer to stay away from the word terrorist. There's such a debate over what is terrorist and what is not terrorist. And I think it's a somewhat artificial debate. Who cares if it's terrorist or not? What is important is not terrorist or not terrorist. What is important is the motivation behind it. Was this some crazy guy who was angry at the world? Is this some criminal out for gain? Or is this a jihadi getting back at the France that he despises? That's the important thing, and everything one has learned suggests that this is a young Muslim of Tunisian origins who despises France and wanted to hit it in its most vulnerable and most symbolic way on the Bastille Day celebration. That's what's important to me.
But if it's the work of terrorists or not, why has France once again been the target?
I think France is the target because there is a rage. It's not unique to France. We see it in Belgium, we see it in the United States, we see it in many other countries. But in France, there's a rage that is being manifested in these attacks. A sense that Islam needs and Muslims need to be protected, and the way to do it is to attack the French, attack them in the Stade de France, attack them in the kosher supermarket, attack them in the Charlie Hebdo, attack them in the cafes, attack them on Bastille Day. If you look at any opinion surveys, if you look at analyses of Muslim opinion, especially among the young, you see great resentment, great sense of alienation, great anger at being a Muslim in France.
Well, speaking following Thursday's bloodshed in Nice, the French president, François Hollande, says he's going to strengthen France's role in the international fight against the Islamic State group in Iraq and in Syria. But that fight's been going on for quite some time now. What more can be done?
Well, I expect that ISIS, ISIL, Daesh, Islamic State will collapse before long in Syria and Iraq. It's not going to collapse everywhere. It's not going to collapse in Libya and Nigeria and Somalia. It's not going to collapse as an idea. It's not going to collapse as the caliphate. So I don't think it's really much relation between the state that now exists in Syria and Iraq and what's taking place in France. Get rid of ISIS and these problems will still be there. What's so remarkable, what ISIS tapped into, is that you can simply inspire. You don't have to plan. You don't have to get into logistics and money and arms. You can simply say, go kill Frenchmen, and then there'll be some people who follow you. And by the way, the call to French Muslims to attack non-Muslim Frenchmen went out over a year ago, and you can see the response. It's not a huge one, but it is definitely a powerful one, and there's every reason to think it'll continue. I might also note that so many of these attacks do not use guns. They use knives, they use bombs, they use cars, they use trucks. And these are not implements that can be easily regulated. So the danger is there.
Middle East states and Muslim clerics have united this Friday in condemning this attack. Leaders there seem keen to distance themselves from what could be another radical Islamist attack. Why is that, do you think?
Well, if you're not at the fringe of the Islamist movement engaging in violence against non-Muslims, or even Muslims in some cases, as in Medina a week or two ago, you find this appalling. In other words, if you are trying to forward the Islamist agenda, the way you want to do it is through the schools and the courtroom and the parliament and other modest steps that don't hurt anybody. You want to have halal kitchens, you want to have polygamy accepted and the like. This kind of barbaric assault, killing dozens of people, that doesn't help you at all. It arouses anger. Indeed, I would say it's events like this, which capture the imagination of the entire West and create a kind of morbid fascination about it, are incredibly harmful to the Islamist cause. It's the last thing they need. Every time there's some major atrocity like this, there is a segment, a cadre of Westerners who go from saying, well, this has nothing to do with Islam, it's about poor people not fulfilling their potential, to people saying this is about Islamism. This is about a radical form of Islam that attacks everyone who disagrees with it. And so it's doing great disservice to the Islamist movement.
Okay, Daniel Pipes, the president of the Middle East Forum in Philadelphia. Thank you very much for that insight. Thank you very much.